तो Pakistanis, they have learned information warfare and propaganda from Americans. हेलो शिव सर, हेलो G219 और कुछ अपने पुराने दोस्त यहाँ दिख रहे हैं, तो कोई होस्ट के साथ को होस्ट बनना पसंद करेगा तो प्लीज लेट मी नो। एंड शिव सर, आप जो है अगर रिक्वेस्ट भेजेंगे तो मैं आपको माइक भी उसके लिए भी अलाउ करूंगा, क्योंकि आज आप हमारे गेस्ट हैं। और आप सब लोगों ने डॉक्टर शिव का जो लेटेस्ट वीडियो है जो कि बालाकोट एयर स्ट्राइक पे आया है वो आप सभी ने देख ही लिया होगा। इसमें बहुत सारे इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट हैं, तो मैं चाहता हूं कि हम इस पे बात करें, एक प्रॉपर हमारे देश के सभी लोगों को पता लगे कि क्या हुआ है उस दिन और कैसे हुआ है। इस सब का सैटेलाइट से तो विश्लेषण डॉक्टर शिव ने पहले ही कर लिया है, तो आइए इसके ऊपर चर्चा करते हैं, बातचीत करते हैं। जैसे आप सभी को पता है कि 14 फरवरी 2019 को एक बहुत ही जो टेररिस्ट वाला अटैक हुआ है, बहुत खतरनाक अटैक हमारे देश के अगेंस्ट हुआ था, जिसमें हमारे पैरामिलिट्री फोर्सेस के लोगों ने इन द लाइन ऑफ ड्यूटी जो है शहादत दी थी। तो उसके जवाब में भारत सरकार ने इंडियन एयरफोर्स को कहा कि आप जो ये टेररिस्ट कैंप है पाकिस्तान में इनके ऊपर अटैक करिए। तो 26 फरवरी को 2019 को ये अटैक्स एग्जीक्यूट किए गए थे 3 अलग अलग जगहों पे। तो आज हम इनमें से एक जगह के बारे में बातचीत कर रहे हैं। तो डॉक्टर शिव प्लीज थोड़ा इसके ऊपर बताएं कि किस तरह से, क्या इससे पहले क्या हुआ था और धीरे धीरे हम इस सिचुएशन पे पहुंचे और फिर क्या हुआ। और फिर आप सर अपने सैटेलाइट पे आपने जो सैटेलाइट पिक्चर्स के से जो डैमेज का असेसमेंट किया, जो पाकिस्तान कह रहा था ये उसके उलट है। ओवर टू यू डॉक्टर शिव।
Thank you. I don't know where to start. There is so much. Let me just talk about this latest video, or do you want me to go behind? पीछे जाके go to earlier
क्योंकि हम सब लोगों को तो पता ही है कि क्या हुआ था, पर कुछ एक ऐसे हमारे लिसनर्स हैं, स्पेशली यंगस्टर्स वगैरह, तो वो भी सब जानना चाहेंगे कि हो क्या रहा था और आगे क्या हुआ। बहुत थोड़ा सा कुछ
अच्छा
शॉर्ट में।
हाँ अच्छा, ये पुलवामा में जो अटैक हुआ ना, जिधर 40 अपने फौजियों की मृत्यु हुई, तो वी वर ऑल, देखिए, पर्सन लाइक मी, ओल्ड पीपल, वी हैव बीन वाचिंग फ्रॉम कभी फ्रॉम 2008 मुंबई अटैक्स, 1993 मुंबई अटैक्स। एवरी टाइम वी आर सेइंग अरे कुछ करना, हिट पाकिस्तान। Nothing happened, and again after Pulwama we were hoping कुछ करेंगे, शायद कुछ करेंगे, and fantastic. क्या 20 वो डेट कौन सा, 26 February 2019 there was this attack on Balakot. Balakot actually POK में नहीं है, it is west of POK, it is in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, it is in the hills. ये hills में बहुत मुश्किल है actually. In the world, Indian Air Force is one of the best air forces to hit targets on hills. Kargil time, there is, how do you hit, how to aim on top of the hill, na? Either you need PGMs, or if you don't have, and even with PGMs, sometimes, even with precision guided munitions, sometimes weather is not good, visibility is not good. But this was a very well planned mission. With Mirage 2000s, MiG-29s, Su-30s, all taking part in the mission. Early morning, 3 o'clock, there was a diversionary mission. So Pakistani radars would start looking, south में देख रहे थे that there is some Indian aircraft coming, and these people went quietly. They got their target and hit the target.
शिव सर
और
जस्ट एक सेकंड, शिव सर एक सेकंड के लिए आपको रोकूं, सॉरी, पाकिस्तान का व्यूअर्स को बता देना चाहता हूं, पाकिस्तान के पास एक बहुत ही अच्छा नेटवर्क सेंट्रिक रडार है, TPS-77। तो वो जो है, अगर वो अपने खुद फोटोग्राफ्स दिखाते हैं तो वो पूरे इंटायर एयर स्पेस इंक्लूडिंग हमारी एयर स्पेस का अराउंड 200 to 300 किलोमीटर अंदर तक देख सकते हैं, जो कि वो कुछ पोस्टर्स वगैरह भी चिपका लगा के रखते हैं या उसके कैलेंडर्स पे भी दिखाते हैं। दे आर वेरी प्राउड ऑफ दोस TPS-77 US radars.
Very good point. Thank you, DFIlite. Because even from 1965, Pakistan have had very good radar cover, and even now they have. But see, ऐसा करना पड़ेगा. You have to do feints, you have to do spoofing of radars, you have to make them think they are going somewhere else. So I think MiG-29s went in some other area. Radars were looking at MiG-29s, and these Mirages went right across, right through POK, and almost up to Balakot. Of course, from a distance, I think from several kilometers away, they launched their PGMs. And fine, they came back. They were not challenged or anything like that. They came back. Next morning, we all heard the news that there has been an attack on Balakot. Or Pakistan denied it. Pakistan said, okay, nothing happened. Well, they didn't fully deny. They said, kuch hua, lekin, they hit some trees, they killed some crows. They started saying something. So then, actually right from 2019, we Indians, our own Indians have been doubting the Indian Air Force. Indian Air Force said 80% of our bombs hit the target. But people are asking, show photographs, show videos and things like that. And actually what happened is, the photos that were shown, not everybody was convinced. That building jo tha, and there were 3 holes, and they were saying that it is a low intensity, what shall I say? It's an explosive which will not destroy the building. It will just make a hole in the roof and go inside. Okay, that also may have happened. But kya hua, February 28th this year, just after a Balakot anniversary, one of my friends, in a direct message, he asked me, Shiv, do you believe that we actually hit Balakot? Did anything actually happen in Balakot? What proof do we have? He asked me. So मैंने सोचा, अच्छा ठीक है, it's good question. If I will look again. Let me see what is there in Google Earth. Any new photo? See, when actual Balakot attack took place, the images of Balakot were more than 1 year old. I think they were from 2017. So there was no use. 2019, if you look at 2017 photos, nothing. We cannot make out anything. So abhi dekha main, on February 28th, fantastic. There was an image from 27th February, 1 day after Balakot attack. Or uske baad 2019, 2021, all images are there. And I started doing a detailed study, and I was very happy because suddenly I realized that Pakistanis had told half truth. They said the trees were knocked down. Or dekha, I looked at the area a little bit to the side, and I found one area completely bald, like my head, all trees removed from that area. And then I started looking very closely, and I found fantastic. See, there was a jihadi hostel, okay, and they have just, even to remove one tree, how much energy you require. Some 10-15 trees, bang, they were actually buildings. See, when I looked at the image on image of 27th February, I went back to 2018, 2017, I went all the way back to 2014. So by 2014, they were constructing buildings in the area. By 2018, the whole area, the buildings had been constructed, and whole area was covered with trees. And suddenly one day, bang, the 27th February, all the trees gone, buildings also gone. And there was one building which I've shown in the video, which has got the holes, of the bombs going in. Huge craters are there. And the bomb has actually created a landslide. Lower floor of the building has just gone down the hill. And I think some 40-50 jihadis who were sleeping, they would have rolled down 90 meters and fallen into the river. Acha, there was one lady, her name was Italian journalist, I think. Italian or French? Italian, I
Yes,
think.
one foreigner journalist, she wanted to enter that area and she was denied permission or
Yeah, her
something.
name was Francesca something, and she had reported that actually bodies had been thrown in the river. So I feel bodies were not thrown in the river; they just fell down straight from the building into the river. So that is what has happened. Then I looked in another area of the thing. I started looking very carefully for any craters, any क्या बोलूं, any bomb damage there. And then I looked at old news reports and saw which are the places they have attacked. Or there's one area where there was jihadi instructors accommodation. There also, again, there's small buildings. Buildings were there in 2014, 2015. More trees were there by 2018. Again, 2019, bang, all the trees gone, everything gone. Not only that, next to that, there was a lake. You can see, there's a muddy water lake. Probably it's not a lake, it is a crater has got filled up with water either because of either one water main has burst or they have done some firefighting. Because of firefighting, that water has overflowed from the crater, it has gone down, and there is one training field. You can see the water stain has entered the training field. Lord, there must have been plenty of fire at that time. So that is what. Plus, then I just, I correlated all the images and did the video. I'm very honored to be here, but I really don't know क्या बोलूं, बोलने का क्या है अभी. बताइए, if there are any questions, I'll be happy to discuss the whole thing, discuss Pakistan, discuss Balakot, anything you like. I'll be happy.
सर उसके बाद भी कुछ इवेंट्स हुए थे, जैसे कि आफ्टर अ वेरी लॉन्ग टाइम पाकिस्तान टुक दिस फॉरेन जर्नलिस्ट एंड जो उनके फ्रेंडली कंट्रीज के डिफेंस अटैचीज को वहां पे लेकर के गए, एंड इफ यू सी कि पूरा का पूरा उन्होंने चेंज कर दिया था, और वो सिर्फ मेन वाले जो एरिया है, जो मदरसा का मेन बिल्डिंग है, सिर्फ वहां तक लेके गए. एंड एक चीज और बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग है, वो जो ये जर्नलिस्ट कह रहे थे, वो ये कह रहे थे कि हमें 2 घंटे से वॉक करा करके ऊपर तक लेकर के गए, और दे कुड हैव यूज्ड द हेलीकॉप्टर्स. वो शायद इसीलिए इट अपीयर्स कि वो जो है वो उनको वहां 2 घंटे तक पहाड़ों पे, जो ये लोग कभी, इट्स इफ यू लिव इन अ क्या कहते हैं, सिटीज जो बिल्कुल प्लेन है, एंड सडनली यू आर टेकन टू माउंटेन्स, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम टू क्लाइंब. तो वो 2 घंटे से उनको चढ़ा रहे थे, थका रहे थे, ताकि वो वहां जाकर के इधर उधर ना देखें ज्यादा. एंड 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 यू सी सर कि वो जो टेररिस्ट हॉस्टल है और वो जो बाकी दूसरी जगह है, वो वहां पे लेकर ही नहीं गए. बस एक जगह लेके गए, वहां पे कुछ प्राइमरी स्कूल के बच्चे वहां बैठ करके वो जिस तरह मदरसा में करते हैं उस तरह से कर रहे थे. और वो जो मेन स्ट्रक्चर है, दैट इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, जो पिलर्स वगैरह हैं. तो सब्सिक्वेंट टू दैट जो टेररिस्टों ने एक वीडियो भी पोस्ट किया था, जिसमें ये मसूद अजहर का भाई, आई थिंक मसूद अजहर का ही था, वो जा रहा है और सारे टेररिस्ट जो हैं वो क्या कहते हैं, रो रहे हैं, एंड दे आर फायरिंग. और ये मतलब उनकी आवाज से उनका दर्द पता लग रहा है कि वो उनको कितना दर्द हो रहा है, हाउ मच पेन दे आर फीलिंग अगेंस्ट, कि क्या हुआ उस दिन.
Yeah, that is
और
a very. I think Masood Azhar's brother or somebody was there, na?
yes,
याद ही नहीं.
Masood Azhar's brother is running that particular camp.
Yeah,
और
correct. Yeah.
वहां से ऊपर आने का रास्ता वगैरह भी था, वहां हमने काफी बार चेक किया उनको. तो वी हैव गॉट अ वेरी गुड टीम ऑफ ओपन सोर्स इंटेलिजेंस लोग जो है हमारी टीम मेंबर्स हैं. तो और आपने भी काफी एग्जैक्टली डिटेल में और चीजें पोस्ट की, और आई थिंक इससे ये तो प्रूव हो गया कि दे हैव सफर्ड ह्यूज डैमेज. वो जो सर, इफ यू रिमेम्बर करेक्टली, ये जो 27th के इवेंट्स के बाद उसी दिन एक फोन कॉल नहीं किया था जो उसका स्कूल टीचर था, तो ही सेड हमने भी 350 लोग जो हैं वो इंडिया के मारे हैं ग्राउंड पे.
He was talking about Pakistan only, I think.
Sir,
All
it's
19
very important. It's very important.
Yeah.
प्लीज अप्रिशिएट कि जब इन्होंने जो स्विफ्ट रिटॉर्ट जो ऑपरेशन किया होगा, पहले ब्रीफिंग रूम में जाके बताया होगा कि हर एक का क्या क्या उसमें क्या क्या वर्क है, और उसमें एग्जैक्टली उन्होंने ये कहा कि हमने ग्राउंड पे इंडिया के 350 लोग मारे हैं। ये
I think
सेम डे की
हम
बात है,
yeah
27th की। और जो सब्सिक्वेंट इन्होंने जो बड़ा सॉन्ग एंड डांस किया पूरा का पूरा, जैसे हम ये मूवीज के या फिल्म फेयर वगैरह अवार्ड्स होते हैं, इस टाइप के अवार्ड्स में उन्होंने कहा कि हमने वहां पे ले जा करके वो H9 बम और समथिंग, उसको वहां ले जाने के बाद उसको ट्रीज की तरफ मोड़ दिया। तो जैसे कि हमारे इसमें होता है कि जो फर्स्ट जो जो चीजें बताई जाती हैं, दैट इज द ट्रूथ, बाकी सब तो आफ्टर थॉट होता है। तो वो ये दिस वाज आफ्टर आफ्टर थॉट। और इसमें दो चीजें हैं कि 350 मारे, तो दे ऑलवेज वांट कि इंडिया ने जितने किए उससे अबव होना चाहिए।
उससे ज्यादा
और
होना चाहिए हाँ
करेक्ट, जैसे हमने 5 न्यूक्लियर टेस्ट किए तो उन्होंने कहा हमने 6 किए हैं। हमने 300 मारे तो उन्होंने 350 मारे। तो दे आर अवेयर कि 300, यस 300 मारे हैं। एंड और उस समय प्रॉब्ली उन्होंने जो 27th के डैमेज असेसमेंट नहीं की थी, तो ही वॉज ओनली थिंकिंग कि हाँ हमने 350 मार दिए। तो ये चीज जो है, और जो इनका जो एयर मार्शल था, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस उसको एयर चीफ नहीं बनाया गया, somebody else was made a एयर चीफ। ये भी सबसे
हम्म
इंटरेस्टिंग एस्पेक्ट है इसका कि उसको
yeah
पनिश किया गया फॉर हिज इनकॉम्पिटेंस। और पूरे टाइम सर ये कह रहे थे कि हमने जो है वो इंडिया को बताना था कि हम ये कर सकते हैं। जैसे ही जस्ट नेक्स्ट डे का ये कह रहे हैं, बताना चाहता हूँ कि जैसे ही आए तो उन्होंने पहला अटैक जो है वो SU-30 पे अपने एमरैम्स लॉन्च करके किया। तो दिस शोज कि ये लोग हमेशा झूठ बोलते रहते हैं। इनका जो इनकी ग्लोरी इसी में है कि ये झूठ बोल करके कुछ कर नहीं पाते, बट दे ग्लोरीफाई एवरीथिंग कि ऐसा हुआ है।
Yeah, they're constant liars. You know, they have to go. See, the Pakistani military can survive only by saying that they are protecting Pakistan against India. In fact, they're protecting Islam against Islam. खतरे में है पाकिस्तान में because of Hindustan. Okay, so now who is protecting Islam in Pakistan? Is the Pakistan army. So they must remain, constantly have all the funding. They must have all the power. So they cannot be seen to lose, because if they shown as losing to India, they will lose all their power. So everything is a victory. In fact, surviving is a victory. If they just survive something, they say this is a big victory. So this is how it is. In fact, Parliament may that Pulwama attack was sort of celebrated like a big victory, as though one great thing had been done by Pakistan, which is a terrible thing. We have a problem state next to us, and see, of course, we have also, I think, as India, we have also made some errors in somehow thinking that by being nice to this country, things are going to get better. No. And you young people must remember, these fellows have to be sorted out. There's only one language they understand. It's the language of violence. If you hit them, it's like one of my colleagues used to tell me that if there was a senior person, if you go near him and say good morning sir, he'll act very funny with you. But if you go near him and say hey what man, then he'll become very quiet. So that way you have to be aggressive with Pakistanis. There is no other go. And in fact, this Masood Azhar and his brother and all, a very sad thing. IC-814 took off from Nepal. It was hijacked in Nepal. And for the people who are less than sort of 25 years old, because IC-814 hijacking took place when 2001. Now it's 21 years. So even people who are 25 would have been just 3-4 years old at that time. And it was hijacked from Nepal. Okay. Then it came and landed in India. I think it landed in Chandigarh. And we should not have allowed it to take off. We allowed it to take off. We were very soft. And although, yes, I agree, it was a Vajpayee government. I'm not saying, see, unfortunately, whoever is the government, even nationalistic people, we've been very soft. And it took off from Chandigarh, then went to Lahore. Lahore, those fellows got more weapons, these guys. Akhir mein, they went and landed in Kandahar in Afghanistan. and then they asked for release of Masood Azhar, Maulana Masood Azhar, who was in jail in India. They also asked for release of one more fellow who was in India, Omar Saeed. So आपको मालूम है Omar Saeed ने क्या किया? So Omar Saeed is famous for two things. There was one Jewish journalist who came to Pakistan called Daniel Pearl, and Omar Saeed cut his throat, and the video was online cutting his throat. He made him say, "I am a Jew, I am so and so, I am Daniel Pearl," and on live he cut his throat. So that was shown. This Daniel, उसका नाम क्या है? Omar Saeed. एक दूसरा, Omar Saeed helped in the funding of attack on New York. So New York attack, Omar Saeed had something to do. और Masood Azhar तो आपको मालूम है, Maulana Masood Azhar finally did so many things, because this happened in 2001, na? 2008, Maulana Masood Azhar was involved. Mumbai attacks. So, we have let these people off, and we can't do it anymore. Our nation cannot afford to be soft. We have to go ahead and do these things. So another thing is, this is the problem. Balakot attack was very successful. We know very well that now there is video evidence also. But, our people, when they say something, immediately they'll say, humko proof chahiye, you give video, you show me 3D reconstruction. Like that we'll ask questions, which is very sad. We are helping the enemy by doing these things. Even today, actually what happened is there is a very nice photo, okay? Photo mein kya hota hai? Photo video nahi hai na, it will be a still. There is a photo of a BrahMos missile that is just hitting very close to one target. And immediately some fellow is saying this is fake, this is not going at 3.5 Mach. Arey kaisa jayega? Photo hai yaar. How can photo go at 3.5 Mach? You'll see only still, it will be in one position. So we have to be a little careful about how we support our own people. Otherwise, unless we are united, we're never going to handle this problem. Sorry, I was having a rant. Go on.
No problem. No problem, yeah. Sir. It's, in fact, you are absolutely right, and I'm 100% with you. क्योंकि जो मेन चीज जो हमें समझनी चाहिए कि वी शुड नॉट लेट ये इन लोगों को हमें विदाउट पनिश किए छोड़ना नहीं है. एंड सबसे बेस्ट थिंग जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया स्पेशली इंडियन एयरफोर्स ने की है, आफ्टर 1971 दे हैव बम्ड पाकिस्तानी टेरिटरी एंड लेट पाकिस्तान नो कि ये जो पीओके वाला एरिया नहीं है, ये पाकिस्तान का एरिया है, एंड वी विल नॉट स्पेयर देम. तो अच्छी शुरुआत है, and let's hope कि we will continue to do these kind of things from air, from through artillery, or through different means. If they want to play fishy, then we should not hesitate to punish them.
Yeah.
This is what
no, you're very right. See, it is the first time since 1971 that Air Force was used to go across to a foreign country. Now, let me talk on a slightly broader perspective.
Shiv sir, अगर आप थोड़ा सा हिंदी में करें तो it will cover a larger audience.
Yeah, I'll try. अच्छा, तो हिंदी में मैं broader perspective, नहीं, history के बारे में जरा बात.
सर, आप जो बताते हैं हम सब के लिए it's very important, not only for us, for our future generations.
No problem. Yeah, that's right. देखिए, आप सबको मालूम है कि 1962 में क्या हुआ. हम हार गए. इट वॉज अ वेरी बैड डिफीट. लेकिन सबको ये भी मालूम है कि हम एयरफोर्स के इस्तेमाल नहीं किया 1962 में. और जो पायलट्स अभी जिंदा है, सीनियर पायलट्स रिटायर हुए हैं, वो सब कहते हैं वी शुड हैव यूज्ड एयरफोर्स, वी शुड हैव यूज्ड एयरफोर्स. लेकिन अभी मैं पढ़ रहा हूं कि जो सीनियर ऑफिसर्स थे 1962 में, they did not take intelligence inputs. They did not realize कि China Air Force was useless in 1962. वो डर गए थे. उन्होंने कहा नहीं, अगर हम Air Force यूज किया तो बहुत प्रॉब्लम होगा, इसलिए इस्तेमाल नहीं किया. So no, मैं बोलूँगा, I'll just go forward in time little bit. तो 1962 में Air Force was not used. उसके बाद 1965 maybe there were orders from the top, I think maybe from Shastri ji, आप Air Force don't escalate. आपको मालूम है कि 1965 में क्या हुआ? 1965 में अयूब खान था पाकिस्तान में, अयूब खान जनरल अयूब खान ने सोचा कि ये हिंदुओं को एक थप्पड़ मारो तो भाग जाएंगे, ऐसा बोला भी हो, एक्चुअली ओपनली बोला। तो 1965 में एक प्लान हुआ, पाकिस्तान का प्लान, ऑपरेशन जिब्राल्टर करके। ऑपरेशन जिब्राल्टर में स्पेशल फोर्सेस और ये मुफ्ती पहन के पीपल वर ड्रॉप्ड इनटू हेली इनटू कश्मीर। तो प्लान ऐसा था कि ये मुफ्ती सोल्जर्स विल कैप्चर श्रीनगर रेडियो को कैप्चर करके ब्रॉडकास्ट करेंगे कि अब कश्मीर फ्री हो गया। दिस वाज द प्लान। अच्छा, तो when Srinagar radio was captured and Kashmir is free, when the broadcast came, then Pakistan would attack. Okay, and Pakistan had sub tanks and everything, they had kept it ready. Okay, so that plan was called Operation Grand Slam. लेकिन ये पहला प्लान फेल हो गया। कौन सा प्लान? ये जो प्लान ये पैराट्रूपर्स श्रीनगर स्टेशन को कैप्चर करके ये सब फेल हो गया। फिर भी अटैक शुरू कर दिया उन्होंने, ग्रैंड स्लैम। और अटैक इस कौन सा नॉर्दर्न कश्मीर सेक्टर में, इट वाज अ वेरी बैड अटैक। दे केम इनटू इंडिया, वी फाउंड इट वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू होल्ड बैक द पाकिस्तानी टैंक्स उधर उस एरिया में। इसलिए शास्त्री जी डिड अ वेरी गुड थिंग, यू नो, ही सेड ओके, काउंटर अटैक करेंगे साउथ में, पंजाब में काउंटर अटैक करेंगे टुवर्ड्स लाहौर। तो अपना एडवांस टुवर्ड्स लाहौर हुआ और उनका एडवांस इट वाज लिटिल बिट मोर इन द नॉर्थ। In what is the sector? I forgot the name of the sector. There was some famous tank battles took place over there. अच्छा, तो मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ, इस टाइम में भी एयरफोर्स they did not use properly. पाकिस्तानी एयरफोर्स 1965 they conducted एक बहुत very good attack पठानकोट में. They destroyed some 6-7 aircraft on the ground Pathankot, and you know, Pakistan Air Force was very strong and we did not use Air Force. Okay, बाद में we used Air Force also, we did well. मैं ये नहीं कह सकता हूँ कि we did not use Air Force, but we were hesitant about using air power. You know, among Indian planners, this ये you know, the feeling was escalation हो जाएगा। अरे ये तो जंग है, युद्ध है, escalation क्या, you have to win ना, ये जीतने की बात है। You should not keep on talking escalation है, you have to use Air Force. तो ये एस्केलेशन प्रॉब्लम है,
की बात है। आई थिंक वी शुड यूज की ये सर्वाइवल की बात है, ये हमारे
सर्वाइवल
बात है, हमारे बच्चों की।
So 65 again, you know, and Air Force was not fully ready in 65. 71 was fantastic. 71, no trouble whatsoever. You know, Army, Air Force, Navy coordination was fantastic. And आप सबको मालूम है, Bangladesh 16 days, Bangladesh was totally liberated. छोड़िए 71 को, विल गो फॉरवर्ड। और बाद में 1999 में फिर से मेन आउट ऑफ यूनिफॉर्म अटैकिंग कारगिल हाइट्स। उस टाइम में भी सेम थिंकिंग वाज देयर, अगर एयरफोर्स यूज किया तो एस्केलेशन हो जाएगा। सो दे डिड नॉट यूज एयरफोर्स इनिशियली, बाद में दे हैड टू यूज, इट वाज अ वेरी गुड थिंग। फिर भी दे सेड दैट एयरफोर्स शुड नॉट क्रॉस द बॉर्डर। दैट इज दैट एलओसी जो है इन कारगिल, इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट ना, ये हिल टॉप अटैक के लिए। सी एयरक्राफ्ट इज फ्लाइंग एट 800-900,000 kilometers an hour. You cannot stop it in just half kilometer. It may cross LOC ना। अगर आपने ऑर्डर दिया कि यू शुड नॉट क्रॉस LOC, तो ऐसा राइट एंगल अटैक नहीं होगा, यू हैव टू अटैक पैरेलल टू बॉर्डर। और सेम डायरेक्शन से अटैक किया तो द एनिमी विल नो किधर से आ रहे हैं, ये नॉर्थ साउथ आ रहे हैं, ईस्ट वेस्ट नहीं आ रहे हैं करके, दे विल एम देयर गन्स एंड दे विल एम देयर मिसाइल्स एंड शूट प्लेन्स डाउन। ऐसा ही हुआ। सो अगेन वी हैड दिस प्रॉब्लम, नो एस्केलेशन। फाइनली आई एम हैप्पी 2019 में से ठीक है, वी विल यूज एयरफोर्स। अभी ये बात हो रहा है कि इंटीग्रेशन, थिएटर कमांड्स और इंटीग्रेशन। In one way, it is a good thing. When there is warfare, everybody should be integrated. ये आर्मी, एयरफोर्स, नेवी सब एक साथ लड़ना चाहिए। क्योंकि क्या होता है, देखिए, अगर वॉर फ्रंट हो रहा है, फाइटिंग हो रहा है, तो उस वॉर फ्रंट में आर्मी के पास एंटी एयरक्राफ्ट वेपन्स है, तो आर्मी को मालूम होना चाहिए कि कौन से एयरक्राफ्ट अपने एयरक्राफ्ट है या फॉरेन एनिमी एयरक्राफ्ट है, मालूम होना चाहिए। ये सब इंटीग्रेशन से हो सकता है, इंफॉर्मेशन एक्सचेंज। अगर इंटीग्रेशन नहीं हुआ तो आर्मी हमारे एयरक्राफ्ट को भी मार देंगे। ऐसा हुआ ना, आपको भी मालूम है 2019 में कुछ कंफ्यूजन हुआ, वी शॉट डाउन आवर ओन हेलीकॉप्टर। This is because of, there is always confusion in war. It's not only India. If you look at every other country, every war, there is ये fratricide होता है, जिधर by accident own side plane is shot down. It can happen. It's not a good thing. ऐसा मैं ये नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि हो गया, जो हुआ सो हुआ, होना, we should not worry about it. ऐसा नहीं कह रहा हूँ. We should worry about it. But there should be integration, and we should use Air Force every time, because 1962 we didn't use Air Force, 1965 it was okay, 1999 again we tied the Air Force one hand behind the back. So this should not happen. We have to use air power is a very integral part of warfare. So यही मैं कहना चाहता था. We should remember that, we should and the other thing is ना, when I see younger people, पता नहीं younger या older, जब एयर पावर के बारे में बात करते हैं, सोचते हैं कि एयर पावर इज अबाउट एयर कॉम्बैट, BVR मिसाइल या डॉग फाइटिंग. नहीं, एयर पावर दैट इज ओनली वन साइड ऑफ एयर पावर. Air power is several other things. Now, one very important thing is to hit the other enemy territory, hit his targets, hit his oil installations, hit his communication, hit his airfield, hit his radar. वो दूसरा एक अंग है. और तीसरा लॉजिस्टिक्स, सप्लाई टू आवर ट्रूप्स, transport of troops, supply, taking artillery into the mountains, and all those things are there. These are all part of air power, we must remember. It's not just about dogfighting and BVR combat. So you must remember that also. Chalo, bus anyway, old man, I just said something.
No, sir. In fact, nowadays, air power and missiles, they are the war winning weapons, and we should use them. मेरे हिसाब से तो पहले ही डे पे कर दिया जाए तो ज्यादा अच्छा है, as compared to stretch it and use it at the last day.
Sorry, can you repeat?
सर मेरे हिसाब से as far as I am concerned, air power and missiles are the future, and it should be used on the very first day instead of stretching them at the very last day or start in between the war. Just
absolutely. Yeah.
And it creates a psychological impact on the other side, especially our enemies, कि इनसे पंगा लोगे तो ये छोड़ेंगे नहीं. Anyway, sir, let's start some question answer sessions. We have got lots of people.
Sure.
कोई अगर सवाल वगैरह पूछना चाहता है तो प्लीज फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल रिक्वेस्ट करें माइक के लिए एंड रेज योर हैंड्स एंड वी विल अलाउ यू. एंड सर मेरे भी कुछ क्वेश्चंस थे विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस एस्पेक्ट. Apart from this, there are other two sites also which were hit by us, hit by the Indian Air Force. तो उसके बारे में कुछ ज्यादा नहीं कहा जाता, तो आई थिंक थोड़ा सा हमें चेक भी करना पड़ेगा कि वो दूसरे
चेक करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि ये 10-15 दिन लगता है ये सब सैटेलाइट फोटोग्राफ्स देखने के लिए, एनालाइज करने के लिए. और उनका कोऑर्डिनेट्स, वी आर नॉट श्योर ऑफ द कोऑर्डिनेट्स ना, नोबडी हैज गिवन द कोऑर्डिनेट्स प्रॉपर्ली. यही प्रॉब्लम है. अगर कोऑर्डिनेट्स मिल जाते तो देख सकते हैं. तो ट्राई करूंगा. वी हैव गॉट दिस कांस्टेंट क्वेश्चन, छोड़ेंगे नहीं.
सब कुछ मैं भी देख रहा था, तो अपनी टीम के साथ वी विल आल्सो लुक इनटू दिस. तो मैंने कहा एंड वो दोनों साइड के लिए बिल्कुल पाकिस्तानीज आर साइलेंट. इनफैक्ट वो जो जर्नलिस्ट को और डिफेंस अटैची को भी सिर्फ बालाकोट दिखाया उन्होंने, बाकी दूसरी चीजें बिल्कुल दिखाई नहीं है. सो दैट विल बी अ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. अगर अब सैटेलाइट पिक्चर्स भी अब अपडेटेड हो गए हैं तो
देखना पड़ेगा. The other sites are not publicized. मुझे पता नहीं क्यों, why they did not make more publicity. लोग कहते हैं कि we are always losing information warfare. पता नहीं क्या होता है. Maybe
in fact, the other day at the space, you are saying that CIA is very good at प्रोपागेंडा। तो हम यूक्रेन और रशियन वॉर में देख रहे हैं कि क्या हो रहा
हाँ
है। एवरी डे आई वेक अप एंड आई सी, अच्छा यूक्रेन ने ये कर दिया, ओके। फिर वन ऑफ माय फ्रेंड्स ही सेज, अरे ये देखो ना कि वो यूक्रेन रशियंस वाले वो क्या कर रहे हैं। तो उनका फिर वो देखते हैं, तो देन वी रियलाइज कि कहता है ये चेक करो कि कौन प्लेन मांग रहा है, कौन हेल्प मांग रहा है, कौन कह रहा है कि वॉर रोको, कौन ये कर रहा है। तो उससे पता लगता है कि वॉर किस डायरेक्शन में जा रही है। तो Pakistanis, they have learned information warfare and propaganda from Americans, and our people, they are very bad at doing things.
correct. I know. See, they have learned. Pakistanis have learned very well from CIA. Acha, after 1965, what happened now? Finally, although the war was little stalemate, I think we captured little bit more territory than Pakistanis. आखिर में exchange of territory. But what happened is immediately after Pakistan war, in Pakistan they had a fly past to show that they had lost no aircraft. तो उन्होंने क्या किया? It's so easy ना. All the sabers flew over the dais, then they went far away, turned around and flew back. So this is a well-known thing. And not only that, this was not the only thing. See, they pay money. आपको मालूम है ना? They pay money to
Yes.
these journalists. So
Bola साहब।
there was one fellow called John Fricker. And John Fricker wrote a history of Pakistan Air Force. उसमें he wrote the story of M.M. Alam, who is supposed to have, वो बिल्कुल झूठ था, that M.M. Alam shot down five Indian hunters in 30 seconds. 30 seconds over Sargodha. That was a complete lie.
सर
But
वो
what happened?
उन्होंने नहीं लिखा था, पीएफ ऑफिसर्स ने लिखा था कि वो चाहते हैं जो पूरी दुनिया उनकी स्टोरी देखे। सिर्फ वो नाम
हाँ
उनका होता है। दिस इज व्हाट आई फाउंड आउट। वो जो दूसरा एक और यूके वाले पर्सन था, तो ही वाज ओनली अ फोटोग्राफर, और उसको दिखा दिया कि ही इज अ बुक राइटर एंड ऑल।
Yeah, yeah. So they're very good at that. They catch the right person to spread the correct story for their side. And in fact, the story that never came out. There was one fellow. Uska naam kya hai? Some Shahid something. He was flying a F-104 starfighter, and he was shot down by a Mystère. Mystère is a subsonic aircraft, or Devaya was the pilot. Kya hua? Devaya shot this fellow down, and this guy never admitted that he was shot down. He said he ran out of fuel, ऐसा कुछ बोला. So that story never came out in 1965. बाद में the same fellow got shot down over Bangladesh in 1971. Then also he did not tell the story. Finally, the story came out in a completely backhanded fashion, that somebody else said that this fellow had been shot down by Mystère, and like in that Mystère crash, poor Devaya, he never came back. He died and he was buried in Pakistan, the Indian pilot. So, these are the things that happen, fog of war and claims made by Pakistan. Now see, after 20 years, they'll be saying they shot down a Su-30. Nobody will believe that it never happened like that. So, we have to keep doing our fight. If government do it, if government does not do it, we have to do it.
Correct, sir. Anybody wants to ask any question? Dot defense and I hate
Anyone,
life.
we can talk about any of
Yeah.
these. Yeah.
Since you guys are talking about this information warfare, so this is something that's of major concern as of now. So what we are going through is a hybrid warfare, and everybody who is connected via internet, I believe, is a part of it. So I'll tell you, I'll share an incident. It happened in 2019. So the Pulwama attack happened, and immediately after that, there were some Wikipedia pages related to that incident, and then that was deleted. And when I looked into who deleted that, I found that there's a person from England, like UK. He's like related to this, and he not only deleted this page, but he also seemed to have edited many Wikipedia pages related to Indo-China border conflict issues. So, can you all shed some light on that? Like,
See, I can only speak from my viewpoint.
okay,
First of all, I have stopped using Wikipedia. try to stop using Wikipedia. Wikipedia is in the control of some. I know it comes up first. It comes up first in internet search because they pay for it. They make sure it comes up first. But try and go down whenever you're doing a search. Go to some one of the other. Usually, अगर आपने कुछ सर्च किया तो पहला विकिपीडिया आता है, उसके बाद आई थिंक एनसाइक्लोपीडिया ब्रिटानिका, वो भी इट्स नॉट दैट वेरी गुड. फाइंड सम अदर थिंग. Wikipedia is very, very biased. And my grandfather, even my grandfather's page, somebody else has written and I can't correct it. I've got all my grandfather's papers in Wikipedia. So forget about Wikipedia. It's really not going to work. And you're absolutely right. This information warfare. I tell you one thing. See, in India, I feel what we have done is we have sent most of our children to STEM lines. Okay? That is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, most of us. Lekin Pakistani fellows, what they've done is a lot of them have gone into arts, especially the richer ones. They send them to either Britain or USA. And these people have slowly got themselves into positions where they have certain influence. And that is how they get into this kind of lines where they can edit Wikipedia. So they're very good at that. And we have somehow not considered that important. And you have asked a very good question. I don't know how to answer it. See, the thing is, we call ourselves IT superpower. But today, supposing I write, when I'm on what shall I say? When I'm typing text, if I write the name Arun, there will be, even our dictionary we're not using. We call ourselves IT superpower. We should really bend things to
I will just
suit
share
us.
a very interesting
Yeah.
example. Have you all seen how, like, you go into the academic journals, right? You look at the papers that people publish. You look at a Chinese author, they will have their name written in Chinese next to their English name. But the same thing you won't see in like case of any Indian author, right? So
we have too much admiration for white nations. We have to be very, very careful. We have to grow out of this. And see, even me, I'm a classic example. Now, I'm not speaking very well in Hindi. हिंदी में बात करना चाहता हूँ, नहीं तो कन्नड़ा जो मैं बात करता हूँ, कन्नड़ा में बात कर सकता हूँ. Ultimately, we are all conversing in English, na? This is the thing. This is the kind of hold that the language has over us, which is unfortunate.
And the reason why I mentioned this Wikipedia thing is because, like, people like you and me, we understand the grievance of this issue, right? How unreliable Wikipedia is. But like majority of the people, they're still not concerned about it, right? They would like, for example, school children. If you give them a project, most of them would like choose to opt for Wikipedia, right? So this is the concern. Like, how can we like constrain this issue that's of serious concern? Because as I mentioned, this is how you will be raging next generation warfare, and they're imposing it on us. And Pakistanis, by the way, they're actually having an upper hand if you observe.
Yeah, but if you look at it, we are totally under control of these are things, there may be more serious things than Wikipedia. You look at what has happened to in Russia now, Visa, MasterCard, Google, all these companies that we take for granted, that we take as part of our lives. All these, they've just, they've completely gone off Russia. So this can happen to us also. So, we really need to move.
I was just thinking a couple of days back, we are actually very, very lucky to be a nuclear nation. I remember talking to I'm in academics also. I remember talking to my Indian colleagues once, having a discussion with our like white colleagues and all that. So the Indian colleagues, they would often say, "Oh, we are ashamed that India is a nuclear nation." Like I said back, no, you don't understand how privileged you are. And now you see, we see this situation. I was wondering if after 9/11 we weren't say a nuclear state, like who knows, our situation might have been like Afghanistan. We have been dragged into the warfare, like that kind of a situation.
Yeah, actually Pakistan made the first nuclear threat during Operation Brass Tacks. अच्छा, आपको मालूम है Operation Brass Tacks क्या है? There was a general there was a huge military exercise, Operation Brass Tacks, and it was just a military exercise. But It was Pakistan actually thought the military exercise was going to start war, and then they gave a nuclear threat. This was 1989.
Sir, may I just add,
Yeah,
it was a very huge military exercise, and
yeah,
it was an exercise of the scale which NATO undertakes, wherein
yeah,
they have used in fact, even the civilian planes were used to bring in troops and everything. And
yeah,
in fact, it was so huge that Pakistan actually panicked, and
yeah.
this threat was given. Am I right,
Yeah, they
sir?
put that was the first time they sent a nuclear threat, and this is 1989. And you must remember that 1986, Pakistan actually tested a nuclear weapon in China, Lopnor in China. And before that, when Pakistan was working on nuclear weapon, President Reagan and they lied. They said we have no evidence. They knew very well that Pakistan was working on a nuclear weapon, but in their parliament, usko kya kehte, Senate, in the Senate they lied and said Pakistan is not making nuclear weapons. So we have been working in an environment where the major powers have been against us. There is no option. We have to be a major power. We have to be a power that with no softness cannot be allowed. We have to have every element of power that we can develop. There's no doubt about it. We have to
And
do
yeah,
that.
and indigenization is the key to our future. That's the only way.
Ab-
Otherwise, there's no,
absolutely.
there's no way.
Absolutely. Acha, I keep on saying this, na? कब शुरू हुआ वर्ल्ड वॉर वन 1914.
Yeah.
1914 World War One started, 1914 to 1918. World War One was being fought between Germany, France, Britain, and USA also came. Acha, if when Germany was fighting World War One, if they wanted aircraft, who would sell them? Could they import aircraft? Arey, they were fighting France, na? They were fighting Britain. There was nobody to import from. किधर से import करेंगे? Same way, all these countries. So when they made same thing happened in World War Two. When they made new aircraft, new designs, some of those designs were not working well. They were crashing, but they had to use them. There was no other go.
I
So
mean,
we have to,
look at the Japanese
yeah, yeah,
kamikaze fight.
yeah,
Those were just meant to just dive in, like just
yeah. No, what
finish
I'm
the
saying
job. Yeah.
is, yeah, what I'm saying is, the technology that you develop, you have to accept it and help our own people to develop it further. You can't say, "Arey, ye acha nahi hai, main idhar se import karunga." Unfortunately, in our country, this has been very easy. कुछ बनाते हैं इधर, then they'll say, "अरे ये अच्छा नहीं है, we much better thing is available, it's not latest." So this is the attitude, that the thing is, the reason why advanced countries are advanced today is they use their own, even if it was faulty, even if it was not working well, they use their own stuff.
I will
We
just give you a
must.
small example. Like you're absolutely right. These are like small things that needs like attention, and it makes a bigger impact. Like if you talk to a German, they would never use any other shoes other than Adidas. Even if like yeah, like they will be proud to do that. Like although like Nike shoes would be better than Adidas, but these are small things. But as you said,
Yeah.
like we do have the capability. Like I mean, things that we make, like they're good. But the thing is, people need to like accept it to a point that where they can be like they can flourish by themselves, right? Like that's the thing that people don't realize, like the importance of like this indigenization thing that we always keep talking about everywhere.
And so many times over the years, some small component will be there and they will sanction that component and we cannot go ahead. And there was a time now, MiG-21 was 50% of the Indian Air Force.
Yeah.
And that time क्या हुआ पता नहीं है, लेकिन ये MiG-20, अच्छा देखिए, when a plane lands now, it has to stop. It has to slow down. Okay, you cannot apply brake when it's landing immediately. Brakes will burn, so they will put a parachute. फिर भी आखिर में जब when the plane has to come to a halt, you have to use brakes. So अगर brake pad नहीं है, the plane cannot land. Plane will just go off the runway. So brake pads, we didn't have MiG-21. Once Russia put sanctions, they didn't give us MiG-21 brake pads. So 50% of Indian Air Force was grounded. Kyun? Because brake pads were not there for MiG-21. This has happened. Yeah, okay, problem was solved. But ऐसे कर सकते हैं ना, you know, when you're dependent on imports, some small minor component they can sanction and you're finished. You can't fly anything.
Suppose we are sanctioned from like getting rare earth elements gone, like all the things that we are planning, that will be a big problem.
Hello?
Hello.
I lost
Hello?
your voice.
Yeah.
Go on. Sorry, you were saying something.
So what I was saying that like these minor things do matter. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So we have. Yeah.
सर आई जस्ट वांटेड टू से आई हेट लाइज ने एक बड़ा अच्छा पॉइंट रेज किया विद रिस्पेक्ट टू दिस इंफॉर्मेशन वॉरफेयर। मैं जो उनके एक डॉक्टर उमर फारूकी हैं, ही इज अ वेल नोन इकोनॉमिस्ट इन पाकिस्तान एंड वेरी सेन वॉइस जो है, तो उन्होंने अभी कुछ दिन पहले एक पीस लिखा दैट वाज पब्लिश्ड ऑन द न्यूज ऑन 6 फरवरी 2022। तो मैं उसका जस्ट एक पैरा पढ़ देता हूँ, दैट इज वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग। He says there are no tanks, no missiles, and no artillery, but Twitter bombs are being thrown at us. The planting of thousands of similar messages at once using fake accounts or bots. Social media has been weaponized to shape public opinion, mobilize support, coordinate military activities, and collect information for targeting purposes. So this was a very important thing which he has mentioned, और इसमें भी और बहुत सारे इस आर्टिकल में चीजें हैं, वी आर गोइंग टू पोस्ट इट। तो इससे पता लगता है कि व्हाट इज देयर थिंकिंग एंड हाउ सोशल मीडिया हैज बीन वेपनाइज्ड। हम भी कुछ हद तक वो काम कर रहे हैं, बट द अदर साइड इज यूजिंग इट फॉर एवरीथिंग। वी हैव सीन कि किस तरह से वो लाइट काट देते हैं, इंटरनेट कनेक्शंस काट देते हैं आफ्टर 7 ऑन द 7th फरवरी 2019 इटसेल्फ। बट ओनली जहाँ पे वो जिसे कहते हैं ना मार खाते हैं, वो इस जगह पे है कि इंडिया का जो पॉपुलेशन है एंड स्पेशली इंटरनेट यूजर्स हु हैव गॉट मोबाइल्स एंड स्मार्टफोन्स, वो इतनी ज्यादा है कि वो पाकिस्तान के कंपैरिजन में पाकिस्तान बहुत माइन्यूट लगता है। ओनली थिंग अवेलेबल जो हमारे लोगों को चाहिए वो डायरेक्शन चाहिए, जो कि कुछ पर्सनालिटीज या जो भी लोग हैं वो प्रॉपर डायरेक्शन, आई थिंक वी आर मूविंग डायरेक्शनलेस इन दिस एस्पेक्ट।
So I think the one thing we must remember, see when you what happens is when a country is at war, once the war is declared, you have to put the country in emergency. Once you declare emergency in the country, you can control anything, including social media. You can. So what happens is, one method of warfare that is going on is to say that internet is fundamental right, and that controlling media is fascism. All these things are there. So now our population feels that I must have internet every day. I must have my TikTok. I must have my Facebook. I must have my whatever Instagram every day. This is my fundamental right. सोचते हैं. So tomorrow, if there is war with China or something and we're in trouble, or सोचिए कि even they knock off one of our satellites, and if our country is in deep trouble, the government may have to clamp down and on social media, especially if rumors are being spread, they may have to actually censor it. At that time, all these people who think it is a fundamental right, they will rise and say, oh, fascist government, we are losing this. So we have to remember that social media also needs a certain degree of control. The state should be able to control social media in an emergency. Too much wokeism is to say that a fundamental right है, free speech, ये सब बिल्कुल फालतू है. And see, Pakistan gained 100% by वो चारों में जब वो F-16 crash हुआ, when they shut down internet, they gained 100%. They had everything to gain. Nobody is criticizing them for shutting down internet. But the news of the F-16 didn't come out at all. So we must remember that it may, in an emergency, it may be necessary to shut down social media, to shut down internet. I'm not saying we should do it. We have been a very open country, and public opinion matters a lot. Wo IC-814, when it went to Kandahar, we had all our people crying, oh, we want our passengers back. Okay, yes, we want our passengers back. But, to get them back, we have released Masood Azhar and This and uske baad then when 2001 Parliament attack occurred, then all these companies now Infosys and all, they said no, we don't want war, we don't. Arey, they have attacked Parliament here. What are they doing? And here these people are saying, nay, we don't want war. So what happens is social media shape the opinions of these people and they create this wokeism. This wokeism thinking that, that liberalism, you must have be free to talk at all the time. And that's not necessary. It's not necessary. You can call me right wing or fascist, but this is a fact. If you have to win a war, ultimately you have to clamp down. You have to clamp down on the media and clamp down. You have to remember that, yeah.
Yes, any other wants to ask anything? Dot Defense, you want to say something? Anybody else want to say? I hate lies. एक बार किसी दूसरे को भी chance देते हैं. If anybody wants to ask,
Surely.
Keshav ji, you want to?
I want to ask. Now, I want to ask that why is the rules of engagement, of IAF is so soft? Like that day on 27th, Mirages could have shot down JF-17 if they have persisted hot on them, but they didn't. They were not allowed to cross the LC. Why is that, policy is so soft?
No, I don't think it's a soft policy. Personally, it's like this. You see, the IAF had the entire border to protect. Okay, so basically, even with given the size of the IAF, you cannot patrol the entire border for 24 hours a day. So we had a limited number of aircraft in the air, and they attacked with 24 aircraft. Okay, so under this, and not only did they attack with 24 aircraft, they were firing off AMRAAMs. So you cannot, I will be a hero, I'll break off a water pump ka handle and I'll go and hit some. You can't do that. You have to make sure that you don't lose anything. So, this, again, it's like this. When there is a crisis situation, people make certain decisions. Okay? The entire action has lasted only for about 15-20 minutes or maximum half an hour. In those, certain decisions have been made. And after that, 2 years have passed. In these 2 years, we are dissecting everything. Why he didn't do that? Why he didn't do this? Why he didn't do that? Okay. So it's very easy to sit afterwards and say he should have done like this. I would have done. Hurry, you were not there, na? How would you have done? Maybe you would have done something else. But in that half an hour, certain decisions had to be taken. And those decisions, those that were taken like that. There's no point going back and saying why he didn't do that, why he didn't do this. This is how it is. This is how it was. They were attacked by 24 planes. There were only some 9 planes on our side. Certain decisions were taken. That's all. Why he didn't do this, why he didn't do that. There's no point. It's like if my aunt had a beard, she would have been my uncle. It's like that. That's all.
Sir, I just wanted to add, उस दिन जो कुछ हुआ, but it is also a fact कि Abhinandan, he saw an opportunity and he took that opportunity.
Yes, it's correct. What happened is that lady controller, they launched him. He went across, he got the opportunity, shot somebody down. And not only that, ultimately the Pakistani, those 24 aircraft, 24 aircraft is a very huge number. They didn't cross the LOC, they stayed on that side. Why did they stay on that side? Why did they fire from 100 kilometers away? Why did they stay on that side? Tell me. Nobody wants to ask that. Oh, our rules of engagement are bad. We are not aggressive. Constantly, we feel as a nation, we don't accept our own experts. जब experts बात करते हैं, वो कहते हैं, अरे तुमको क्या मालूम है, तू, you're a fool. See, the Pakistanis are so good. This is why do we take this attitude? I really cannot understand. Why do we take this attitude? What is the problem? Those fellows are Air Force. Yeah, you listen to that podcast, you see these veterans, they know their job, they're doing something. Then we are sitting here afterwards and saying, "Arey, he should have done it." And best part is, जब हम ऐसे बात करते हैं, Pakistanis will also agree with us and say, your fellows are useless. So actually, we are helping Pakistanis by talking like this, and that is how they win the information warfare, because we are Pakistani allies. We are
Exactly.
Indians are the biggest allies of Pakistanis. Somebody has raised a hand.
Yes, hardcore, please. बाकी सारे speakers, please जरा थोड़ा mic बंद कर लें। आपका जो हमारी बात है वो आपके माइक से इको होती है, तो दैट क्रिएट्स प्रॉब्लम। थैंक यू।
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
I was wondering about the role of mercenaries. They have been brought into limelight, especially during this Ukraine-Russia war. कल ही मेरी न्यूज में आया था कि रशिया अडॉप्ट कर रही है सीरिया के मर्सिनरीज को, एंड अदर यूरोपियन कंट्रीज हैव गिवन, मतलब खुला हाथ छोड़ दिया है कि आप चाहें तो यूक्रेन के लिए फाइट कर सकते हैं उनसे, मतलब। और कई सालों से कश्मीर भी, मतलब पाकिस्तान भी हमारे अगेंस्ट यूज करता है मर्सिनरीज को। चाइना भी इन द नेम ऑफ अरकन आर्मी हमारे अगेंस्ट यूज करता है, तो क्या हमें भी मेंटेन करना चाहिए मर्सिनरीज को? थैंक यू।
नहीं, mercenaries की, I don't think mercenaries are needed. See, आखिर में, you have to have a good soldier who is dedicated. अगर good dedicated well trained well equipped soldiers हैं तो वो काम करेंगे. अगर वो नहीं है तो, or if you want deniability, अगर you want the fighting to happen but you don't want your own people, तो that Pakistan has done many times ना. Pakistan has used, see, ये जो तालिबानी, ISIS, ये सब mercenaries है आखिर में. That is what they are. Pakistan has used them. Generally, if you have got a good army, if you've got good, well-trained, well-equipped army, they'll be better than any mercenary. I think, too many fiction books and TV serials and, Blackwater and all give the impression that some of these mercenaries are very great. Or in my days, there was this French Foreign Legion, all mercenaries, all, who'll fight very well. But I think, what happens is, they don't, for instance, US does not want their own soldiers to go and fight in some African country. They will have mercenaries. Or either Ukraine में क्या रहा, Ukraine is suffering. I think Ukraine will probably lose the war. This is my feeling. They will lose the war. So they are getting mercenaries. They are getting mercenaries from, I think, some Israeli mercenaries, British mercenaries, all have come. ठीक है, mercenaries, for a money or for their own personal satisfaction, they go and fight. But ultimately, mercenaries or no mercenaries, unke liye you have to have equipment, you have to have support, you have to have all these things. There is very little difference between a mercenary and a jihadi who's fighting for, say, Pakistan or ISIS or Taliban. It's the same thing ultimately. And I don't think we need to have mercenaries for that. Having mercenaries is another problem. Tomorrow they can turn against you. The same Taliban whom Pakistan was cheering for, now they are fighting against Pakistan. So, I'm not sure that is such a good idea.
And sir, mercenaries, they fight for money in most of the cases, so they can take money from other side and they can fight against us also.
Absolutely, absolutely. They'll fire.
Yes. Anyone else want to say? And Keshav ji and Hardcore, please turn off your mics. वो वापस इको होता है या कुछ. Thank you.
Can I go ahead with my question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. I have one question. Just before Americans pulled out from Afghanistan, there was a ceasefire between India and Pakistan. What is the genesis and reason behind that? Because that was very all of a sudden, that announcement, and we don't know why that thing has happened actually.
No, there was a recent, actually, the answer by one of the army people. It's like, you see, you're now seeing pictures from Ukraine, how the people are suffering. Okay. See, I'm sitting here in Bangalore, I'm very happy. Now I'm saying, Arey, udhar 2000 kilometers away, Indian army should be firing. But udhar kya kar rahe hain? Pakistanis are firing at our Indian villages. And our villagers were having a very hard time. Actually, the border villages were having a very hard time. They were being shot and they were suffering just like the people of Ukraine right now. And the reason for the ceasefire was that. It was because the people at the border areas were not able to lead their lives. That was the reason for the ceasefire. I don't think there's any other conspiracy theory behind that.
Okay. And one more question. I remember maybe 4-5 months back, uh, almost 10 plus our soldiers got killed, and very mysteriously, in the northern Kashmir, if I remember correctly. And there was no proper closure in terms of who killed them and how that happened when there was a ceasefire active between India and Pakistan. Any insight we have there?
I'm afraid I don't know about this incident. Really, I can't comment on it. But I know there is a constant. See, from what I've heard, supposing a Pakistani special forces group comes inside and they kill some Indian soldiers, we cannot maintain the morale of our army if we don't allow our people to do the same thing. They would have quietly gone and done something. They would have quietly gone and cut some heads, shot some people. So this sort of thing does happen in the border. See, you have young, strong men, you can't hold them. You can hold them back by army discipline, yes. But sometimes you have to let them loose and say, Jao, go. Do something. So I'm sure something would have happened. We will never get information about all these things in full detail, because again this becomes part of information warfare. See, when we start asking for information, then I can argue and say, "Arey, freedom of information." I will go to Supreme Court. I'll say, "You tell me about these soldiers." Then supposing you say it is army security, we can't tell about the. They'll say wokeism. You'll say, no. This is fascism. This is some other problem, is some corruption. So I think we should let the army do its job and not ask too many questions about exactly what happened. Something would have happened, yes, but trust them to an extent. See, I'm a retired doctor, but most of the time when a patient comes, they trust the doctor. ये कुछ बोल रहा है, ये कुछ कह रहा है. So they trust him. So ultimately you have to trust the specialist to do that. With the fellow takes off the pilot takes off in an aircraft, there are a whole lot of technicians and other people who've done the checks. He has to trust those people. We have to trust our own people to do the right thing, not question too much about incidents that took place. I don't think anybody is trying to go against the country or lie or any conspiracy theory. This is my feeling.
Sir, may I just add to that?
Yeah.
Sir, we have to trust them because actually it is their own lives which are at stake.
Yeah, correct.
So whatever they do, whatever their judgment is, if we would have been there, we would have done probably one step below than what they have done.
Yeah, absolutely correct.
So we need to trust them because they are the right person doing the right thing.
Thank you very much. Maybe a last question. As you rightly said, this is a information warfare game too, right? So why Indian government didn't kind of conclusively shown the F-16 damage also? We have so many satellites and stuff. Why we didn't show that when everything is at the stake, right?
See, I think the only information that the Indian government has, apart from classified information, they have no photo of the F-16. They've only they've got transcripts, they've got radar signature. How they picked it up as F-16, on what channels they intercepted the Pakistani conversation calling for the F-16. Some of these things are classified. So in fact, even if you look at the radar image that was publicized, only part of it is shown. Rest of it is blanked out. So they can't show everything. But ultimately, other than Abhinandan, no Indian actually saw that F-16 except maybe our OSINT group, because there is that definite tadpole image of a burning F-16. I'm sure that is the only available image of an F-16. After that, there was a clampdown in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, and nobody was allowed to see it. All the parts were salvaged, and that American technician who helped to salvage it and keep the story of F-16 secret, he has been awarded also. So, no matter what, the other thing is, in your question, you are, like a lot of other people, showing some degree of disappointment and what shall I say, you want some more information. You want India to say, "Arey, we've got, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen that way. That's how it is. This is the best we can get. I don't think there's any further proof that anybody is going to get. So we have to accept it for what
May I
it is.
break in? May I
Yeah.
break in for a minute? So as
Yeah.
you said, Sivji, so this is exactly the point where that we are missing, like the essence of this entire discussion. So the moment we ask any sort of like this is the thing, we have to have this trust, right? Like
Yeah.
they have done this, so be it, like even if it like it's they didn't shoot, they didn't shoot, doesn't matter. That's said, and that's it. Like you believe it, because this is, if you make this mistake, like what, like mistake upon, like it's happening like that, and then we are losing. That's the point, we are losing it. Like we are not realizing, but like
See, we are supporting Pakistan by the doubts that we express. Oh, Indian government should tell more. So Pakistani will laugh and say, ha, 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 your government won't give anything. They don't know, you're lying. You see, we are, by doubting our people, we are actually supporting the Pakistani cause. Our people have said we've shot down F-16. What is the problem in believing it? We don't want to believe our people. We have more doubts than Pakistan.
I'll just you just look at the there's this 9/11 that happened in US, right?
Yeah.
Like just then they just jumped into the war. US jumped into the war. Do people know that there are a bunch of like thousands of people in US like who believes that that it was an inside job and thing like that, but it like majority of the American people, they don't even question it, they just believe it as a conspiracy theory. So there you go. Like there are things, but like when you make them, like give them this evidence that thing happened, they just crashed the plane, and then that's it, we are into this war, people just rage for war. So that's the thing, you see.
May I just also say that in fact, whatever work which was done by Dr. Shiv and his team and our team, it was published in the print, and it shows so much evidence we have collected and posted, and later on even the GPS location of the crash site has been posted.
Yes.
And there are so many things. In fact, we have even got a video जहाँ पे वो क्रैश कर रहा है, उसके बाद वहां से वो काला सा धुआं उठ रहा है, एंड डॉक्टर शिव ने तो एग्जैक्टली वो जो प्लेन है F-16, इट इज कन्वर्टेड इनटू अ टैडपोल, बर्निंग F-16. तो ये सारी चीजें वी हैव डन इट. और इसके बाद आप जो कह रहे हैं कि सैटेलाइट पिक्चर्स के बारे में, ओनली वन सैटेलाइट वाज अवेलेबल ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर डे, एंड जो दूसरी साइड है, दे हैव गॉन टू सच एन एक्सटेंट. प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, F-16s आर देयर टॉप ऑफ द लाइन फाइटर एयरक्राफ्ट. अगर F-16 फेल हो जाता है तो उनकी पूरी कंट्री फेल हो जाती है, आप समझिए. उनकी एयरफोर्स के पास एक एस कार्ड है. अगर ये एक MiG-29, इसको फॉर एवरी F-16 इफ वी लूज वन MiG-21, तो ये पाकिस्तान तो खत्म ही हो जाएगा. वी विल रूल देयर एयर स्पेस, जो कि हमारी एयरफोर्स करती है, कर सकती है. तो इस चीज को रोकने के लिए दे हैव गॉन टू सच एन एक्सटेंट कि अगर आप देखेंगे तो वहां पे उन्होंने सारा का सारा एरिया जो है वो सबके मोबाइल फोन्स वहां से कन्फिस्केट कर लिए, लाइट्स ऑफ कर दी, किसी को जाने नहीं दिया. धीरे धीरे जो वहां पे पहले या दूसरे दिन ही सारा का सारा मलबा हटा दिया, टेंट्स पैचअप कर दिए. एंड हमने तो इतनी सारी चीजें देखी, और फॉर शेयर लक जो है वो पाकिस्तानियों के साइड था कि उस समय कुछ ज्यादा उस एरिया में सैटेलाइट्स जो हैं वहां नहीं देख रहे थे, सारे के सारे बालाकोट के साइड देख रहे थे. दैट वाज द प्रॉब्लम. स्टिल वी फाउंड आउट कि प्लैनेट का एक पर्टिकुलर एरिया में उनकी एक टाइल में वो विजिबल है, वहां पे जो चेंजेस हैं, और जहां पे वो गिरा है उसके बाद वहां पे घास नहीं होगी. फिर काफी टाइम तक वहां पे पेड़ छोटे हो गए बिकॉज ऑफ द डैमेज कॉज ड्यू टू फायर, और सारी चीजें हुई. वी हैव मेंशन, हमारी जो ट्विटर में जो आप पिन ट्वीट देखेंगे वो सारी इन्हीं चीजों को डॉक्यूमेंट करते हुए है. तो यस, वी हैव गॉट एविडेंस. जहां तक कि गवर्नमेंट आपको वो सारी चीजें नहीं दिख रही, वेट करें, यू माइट सी समथिंग. लेट्स होप कि कुछ ना कुछ आए, बट लेट्स वेट एंड वॉच. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sivan. Yes, I have read that article in the print. Thanks for connecting that. It was written by Dr. Shiv. It was very informative and very well researched. Thank you very much. And I think Balakot's story is very credible. In fact, Pakistanis took 40 days to take the journalist there, right? So, I mean, if nothing was damaged, why they needed to? Why they took 40 days, right? So that's a very credible story. Thank you.
Thank you.
I think, yeah.
Dot Defense, you want to say something?
No, nothing. You know, sorry, go on. Please carry on. Yeah.
No, sir. You carry on.
No, nothing. I have nothing to say. Please speak.
DFI थोड़ा सा भाषा का थोड़ा सा अति कर दीजिएगा, क्योंकि हमारा इंग्लिश थोड़ा कमजोर है. बोल रहे थे कि ये जो F-16 गिरा था, उसमें तो CIA भी तो मदद कर रही थी ना उसको, पाकिस्तान वालों को ये छुपाने के लिए.
सही बात है. देखिए, अगर CIA ये कहे कि हमारे F-16 MiG-21 गिरा सकते हैं, तो अमेरिका का जो लार्जेस्ट एक्सपोर्ट है F-16 वो तो बंद ही हो जाएगा. एंड आफ्टर जो हुआ है, इसके बाद ताइवान को उनको एक ऑर्डर दिया था, आई थिंक 100 F-16 का. तो इसीलिए, क्योंकि वो जो है कनेक्टिंग पार्टी है, उसका पर्सनल इंटरेस्ट है, तो यू शुड नॉट, आपको वो जो कहते हैं उसकी बात नहीं माननी चाहिए, और इंडिपेंडेंट चीजों को देख करके आपको हिसाब लगाना चाहिए कि एग्जैक्टली हो क्या रहा है. पाकिस्तानी हमेशा यही कहते हैं कि आप दिखाइए एविडेंस. अरे भाई, तुम्हारे एरिया में चीज है, हमने दिखा दिया, ऊपर से गिर रहा है, 2 प्लेन गिर रहे हैं, एक गिर रहा है, दूसरा शॉर्ट हो रहा है, उसके अलावा और क्या दिखाने की जरूरत है? ये तो आप दिखाओ ना. पाकिस्तानी कहते हैं जी वो जो दूसरा प्लेन है वो Su-30 है, तो हम तो ये कहते हैं कि दिखाइए. अब तक 2019 से लेकर के हम 22 में आ गए, अब तक जो है वो अपना जो जहां क्रैश हुआ वो नहीं दिखा पाए, अपने पायलट को झूठा अवार्ड दे दिया. ये बड़ी अजीब सी बात है कि MiG-21 जिसने गिराया उसको बड़ा अवार्ड दिया, और Su-30 जिसने गिराया उसको एक छोटा अवार्ड दिया गया. तो
देखिए, मेरा मानना है कि देखिए सर, ये जो है आपको मतलब CIA, आपको याद होगा कि F-21 नाम का जो फाइटर जेट बालाकोट से पहले ऑफर किया था, आपको शायद याद होगा. हेलो,
हाँ, F-20,
सॉरी, F-21 ऑफर USA India to buy. This is a copy of F-16.
Correct.
That event comes to MiG-21 down F-16. So that reason, my English is very low.
No. See, they are saying, see, F-16 will be in service till 2050, 2060. So there's a lot of life in F-16 still. So they won't allow it to go down like that. And the Pakistani Saleh, they lost one F-16. Why America should allow it to be publicized? Chodo. Yeah, but ultimately, the thing is, in information warfare, one of the important thing is reduce wokeism. Support your side. Support your own side. You have to, that's a very important thing, having a trust in your side. You have too much of if you're woke on one side, on the other side, you're also, you think I am very clever, nobody knows more than me. So, once you have that attitude, then you have the country just, everybody disagreeing with our own people, not allowing anybody to go ahead. Yahi to ho raha hai na?
Sir, one question is, sorry.
Yeah.
Something news are coming from Pakistan and China allied with media and Turkey also. तो क्या मतलब नुकसान होगा भारत के लिए? But is it dangerous for India?
I think he is saying कि वो एक तो J-10C है, और वो कुछ फ्यूचर में वो कह रहे हैं कि 5th जनरेशन के लिए करना चाहते हैं. तो एयर वॉरफेयर.
अरे नहीं भैया, जैसे मीडिया का जो है, मतलब कि ये जो चाइना और मतलब कि पाकिस्तान के साथ जो ये मतलब अथी किया है ना, टाइप किया है ना, याद कीजिए, कुछ दिन पहले ही न्यूज आया था कि ये लोग आपस में मतलब मीडिया को कथी कर रहा है, कनेक्ट कर रहा है. इसका मतलब वो इन्फॉर्मेशन वॉरफेयर फैला रहा है इंडिया के खिलाफ.
अरे सब किस्म के वॉरफेयर कर रहे हैं ना, इंफॉर्मेशन वॉरफेयर और सप्लाइंग ऑफ आर्म्स, हेल्पिंग न्यूक्लियर वेपन्स. सब किस्म के वॉरफेयर कर रहे हैं, तो why just information warfare?
Sir, generally, village area, the new internet user for this is a very dangerous for that people. He is using new for internet. Sorry, my English is very bad. So
नहीं
I'm
पता
from
हिंदी में
basically
बात
Bihar.
कीजिए, लेकिन क्या प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है कि आप ये वॉइस ब्रेक हो रहा है, यही प्रॉब्लम है। ये स्पेसेस में ऐसा होता ही रहता है, ब्रेकिंग ऑफ वॉइस, इट कम्स लाइक दैट, दिस इज द प्रॉब्लम। बताइए, नो प्रॉब्लम।
सर एक लास्ट सवाल ले लें। विश्व एक अभी हमने ऐड किया स्पीकर को, एक लास्ट सवाल ले लेते हैं। वी हैव ऑलरेडी 1 hour and 20 minutes.
Sir, yeah, I got it. So actually, more than a question, Dr. Shiv, it's for comment. I agree with you कि ये जो wokeism वगैरह है, that is one side. But we should not encourage this questioning of army or military or air force operations, because the goal is in the fact that what we wanted to achieve, we achieved. Now after that, nobody has dared to come, and the events that were happening before that date, it has never happened after that. So that our goals are achieved. There's no point questioning the success or failure of a particular bombing run. No? That people have to understand.
Yeah. See, when we question all these things, we are supporting the other side. We are fighting the information warfare for our enemies. This is what is happening. This is part of the information warfare. And I think what is the name? Dot Defense. He was saying with coming of internet in the village side, that this will all be dangerous. Arey, theek hai yaar, let's remember that in our country there are so many 15 major languages and God knows how many 100 minor languages, and half those fellows won't understand what Pakistan is saying. It's okay, they're talking about their own things. So I'm sure it'll be all right. Most of our people are good, loyal to the country. And
absolutely,
they won't
and on our
see,
side, we should step up that information warfare as well.
we have
given
to
the
do
fact
it,
that it's not that they are some rocket scientists. We are we're equally capable of doing it.
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Things. Yeah.
Just I want to say कि जैसे मैंने पहले कहा था कि we have got a huge population who are internet users, and more are coming every day. So we need to have influencers, correct influencers who can direct these people. Look, this is what is happening, and what has been done is done correctly by the professional who is handling it, because his own life is at stake. So whatever he is saying.
May I just spread a small word? So,
please
if
keep it short.
The concerned people are listening, I would like to state, concerning that, what can be done in this regard is it has to be done from a bottom-up level, from the grassroots level. As somebody said, this is of concern to the people in villages who are using internet. Like the previous guy, I think he mentioned something like that. Why it's of so much concern. So I think maybe our army can help in this regard, to educate people from the grassroots level, how to wage this ways this information warfare, how to understand what kind of propaganda is being spread against our national interest. So that was my point.
Sir, you'll be surprised to know, I don't know if you already know this. I don't know if you already know this, sir, but NTRO and others are already busy doing the same thing. They're attacking it ground up, and they are actually taking care of the information. This thing, they actually, do not underestimate the power of how much information technology we can leverage. NTRO is doing a great job. If you dig deeper, you will find a lot.
Yes.
Good to hear that.
No, I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that at all. No. Yeah.
So I think at one stage we'll have to call this. It's past my bedtime now. So
So, thank you very much, everyone, including Dr. Shiv.
Thank you.
This is a live
Thanks for
discussion
calling
video. And we will upload this video on our YouTube channel, and then others who have not heard this, they can have this recording both at Twitter Space as well as our YouTube channel. So please subscribe our channel and press the bell icon. Thank you all. Thank you, Dr. Shiv.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Dr. Shiv. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Welcome.
सुनिए ना सर, DFI भैया, हेलो।
हाँ जी, बोलिए सर।
बोले कि जब भी आप स्पेस ऑर्गेनाइज कीजिए तो कृपया हमको बुलाइएगा सर जरूर, इससे हमको सीखने को मिलता है बहुत कुछ।
आप आप जो है बेल आइकॉन को क्लिक कर लीजिए, जब भी कुछ स्पेस होगा या कुछ होगा तो आपको पता लग जाएगा। थैंक यू
सर
एवरीवन।
क्या है कि हमको इंग्लिश थोड़ा, हमारा इंग्लिश थोड़ा सा
कोई बात
कमजोर है।
नहीं सर, हमने हिंदी में ही
अरे
करना
छोड़िए,
शुरू किया
कोई
है।
प्रॉब्लम नहीं, इंग्लिश कमजोर है तो कोई प्रॉब्लम, हिंदी में
कोई
बात
नहीं,
कीजिए।
ठीक है, धन्यवाद।